Pure Boo, or more commonly known as Kid Boo by the fandom, is known not only for his incredible impact on the latter half of the Boo saga, but also for his incredible strength, which he used to contend with fighters as strong and experienced as Super Saiyan 3 Goku. But how strong is Kid Boo among the other top tier fighters in the Boo saga, like Gotenks, Gohan, and Super Boo? Well, there is no easy answer to this question, as people have been arguing over this exact subject for 3 decades now, which is why I'm here to try and provide an answer to this question. We will be going over both versions of Kid Boo, that being from the anime and the manga, as Kid Boo's strength does differ quite a lot between both continuities. And with that out of the way, it's time to look into the underrated power of Kid Boo. The anime makes it very clear cut at where Kid Boo stacks up to in comparison to the rest of the cast. Goku vs Kid Boo in the anime is portrayed as a battle that will determine whether everyone lives or dies, with it even being suggested that Goku is the only person capable of fighting Kid Boo, with Gohan himself in the next episode preview, as well as on Earth, implying that he would lose to Kid Boo if they fought. This isn't really as much of a contradiction as it may seem, as in the anime Goku has way better feats, like beating up a clone of Ultimate Gohan that has equal power to the original, with him also putting up a decent fight against Bootanks, the same guy who dogged Ultimate Gohan. And if you want to go into guidebook territory, it is straight up stated in Daizenshuu 10 that Goku vs Kid Boo is a battle of the strongest versus the strongest, meaning yes, that they are stronger than Ultimate Gohan. But Kid Boo doesn't exactly cap here. It is stated over and over and over again that Kid Boo is the strongest Boo. The sheer amount of statements for this is ridiculous and makes arguing against him near impossible. Now, of course, people will try and counter this by saying he was a rival to Super Saiyan 3 Goku, but this isn't exactly an anti-feat and would just imply that Goku got stronger throughout the Boo saga, which is not only supported by the feats I brought up earlier, but it is suggested throughout all of Dragon Ball that Saiyans get stronger just by fighting. And considering that Goku fought a lot more than he did in the manga, this makes Kid Boo rivaling Goku not really an anti-feat, and would just upscale Goku more than anything. The other main counter-argument to this is that Goku said he was weaker than Super Boo when he was about to blow a hole through his body, and since this is stated in the manga as well, I am just gonna completely shit on this statement and explain why it doesn't mean much for either continuity. The main thing people fail to realize is that Goku, when making this statement, was the size of a flea, and in Daizenshuu 10, it is directly stated that Goku is at less than 1/100th of his power due to being shrunken down, with this also being implied in the manga by Super Boo. And Daizenshuu says that Vegito staying the same level of strength despite his form changing is a special characteristic that only he possesses. People may try to counter this by saying Goku was talking about leaving Boo's body and fighting him outside, which is true, but people do not realize that Goku probably did not know that he would return to normal size once he left Boo's body, as he literally seemed shocked when they all turned back to normal once they did leave his body. Now, while Kid Boo may be stronger than Buuhan, there is one character that Kid Boo absolutely does not hold a candle to, that being Vegito, which some people actually disagree with due to Vegeta saying that Kid Boo and Goku are in a whole different league. But not only is Vegeta very obviously referring to himself here, but it is literally stated that Vegito is the strongest character in Z on more than one occasion. So no, Kid Boo is getting absolutely washed by Vegito. So to summarize, everything from feats to statements to guidebooks all point to the fact that Kid Boo easily eclipses high-tier Boo saga fighters like Gohan and Buuhan. But the question is, does this hold up in the manga? The manga also depicts Kid Boo having a roughly even fight with Super Saiyan 3 Goku, with Goku having several statements of being the strongest in the universe, with a V-Jump straight up calling a weaker Goku as a rival to Ultimate Gohan. There are other arguments I can bring up, but since I don't want to have to repeat my entire Goku vs Gohan video, I would just say that Goku is significantly more powerful than Gohan, and if you want more context and reasoning as to why, you can just watch that video. But even disregarding his fight with Goku, it was stated several times that if Goku could not gather enough energy for the Spirit Bomb, then Kid Buu would go on and kill everyone on Earth a second time, including Ultimate Gohan and Gotenks. The guidebooks also seem to support the idea of Kid Buu being this strong, as Dragon Ball Forever labels Kid Buu as a powered-up Majin Buu, with Daizenshuu 2 also blatantly labeling Kid Buu as the strongest in the universe. So I think him having the strength to take care of guys like Gohan and Base Super Buu is fairly consistent. But does him being the strongest Buu hold up in the manga? Well, it depends. Kid Buu and several guides like Super Exciting Guide and Dragon Ball Forever label him as the strongest enemy. Now whether or not this puts him above Buuhan all depends on if you think the series portrays Kid Buu as a different enemy, which is not an easy question to answer. Super Buu seems to consider Kid Buu to be an entirely separate being than himself, but guidebooks like Daizenshuu 2 seem to consider him, Buuhan, Bootanks, and Super Buu all as the same being, as they all call him Majin Buu Evil. So it really just depends on what source you want to take. Regardless, this isn't the only argument for Kid Buu. The other main argument from Kid Buu stems from an old interview that Akira Toriyama took part in, where the interviewer states that Kid Buu is the strongest form of Majin Buu, with Toriyama not really disagreeing. Another thing you can say about this is that Toriyama states that when setting a character's strength, he constantly shifts between telling a straightforward story and a contradictory one, and this can be seen in the other 3 arcs of Dragon Ball. Vegeta is way stronger than Nappa, despite Nappa being way bigger than him. Frieza kept going bigger and bigger with each of his transformations, but when he transformed into his true form, he gets way smaller, with this even being commented on in the manga itself. And Cell, after transforming into his perfect form, is noted as being a lot smaller than his previous forms. So, going off of this, we can clearly see that Toriyama makes it so the final forms, or final villains of each arc, abide by this contradictory style of storytelling. So it would only make sense for the smallest version of Majin Buu that has no absorptions to be the strongest. Now, in complete honesty, this argument is genuinely pretty solid, but if you want to once again dive into the guidebooks, it does have potential material that goes against this idea. El Manga Legendario even verbatim states that Kid Buu is not the strongest form of Majin Buu, with it elaborating on this by saying a combined attack from Gohan, Gotenks, and Goku could have defeated him, which implies that this is something the other forms of Buu would not lose to. Honestly, this all depends once again on what source you value more. Personally, I would slightly lean towards Toriyama's intended narrative, since he is the author and that narrative is put into the other 3 arcs of Dragon Ball. But if you value EML's statements more and think Buuhan is stronger, then I honestly don't blame you. So, to summarize, Kid Buu has more than enough evidence to put him concretely above Ultimate Gohan, Gotenks, and Super Buu, with him possibly, emphasis on possibly, being stronger than Buuhan. And that's the video. Now, of course, I would love to thank you guys for watching, and if you liked my content, please subscribe, as at the time of me recording this, I am nearly at 2,000 subscribers, and I might give y'all a little something as thanks when we hit that milestone. But with that out of the way, I will see you guys in the next video. Later! Also, make sure to check my community tab, as that's where you guys can vote for the next video.